We've got power!
Cool! Dialing in frequency AM 1300.
Stand by, Angela.
Standing by.
Want to raise money for a new playground?
Yeah.
Find ways to help your family go green.
Yes.
Discover what new books are out and what you need to read.
Totally cool.
Then don't move. Because here is the
What's going on around here?
radio show just for you.
Angela, go.
This is In Tune on AM 1300. Radio Disney.
Good morning, Chicago. Broadcasting from our Radio Disney studios at 401 North Michigan Avenue. It's In Tune with Radio Disney AM 1300. We're here to talk about matters that are important to Radio Disney families. I'm DJ Angela, and here today we have our special guests from Tuesday's Child. We're lucky enough to have Joanne Loper, the Director of Parent Training, and we also are lucky enough to have Dr. Joanne, our second Joanne in the studio today, Joanne Purpley, the Clinical Director at Tuesday's Child. For more information on Tuesday's Child, go ahead and check them out at www.tuesdayschildchicago.org or call 773-282-5274. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Joanne, another one.
Hi.
Hi, DJ Angela.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming in.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting us.
Of course. All right. So now one of our anticipated questions for all of our Radio Disney listeners out there is we want to know, who are you guys listening to on Radio Disney?
Besides DJ Angela, I'm listening to Justin Bieber.
Oh, she's good. And what about you?
I am listening to Katy Perry.
Ooh, Justin Bieber and Katy Perry, two of my favorites. They were just on the top 2011 for Radio Disney, so they're coming in hot for 2012. Now, any special shout-outs before we jump straight into the good stuff?
I would like to send a shout out to my fellow co-workers at Tuesday's Child and say I love you all, and to my very own Tuesday's Child, Jessie, who heads our home base program.
And I will say hi, give a shout out to, I have 4 sons, so I'll say hello Patrick, hello Daniel, hello Mark, and hello Jack.
Oh, wow. All 4 boys, huh? Mm-hmm. All right. So for all of our listeners out there who are unaware of what Tuesday's Child is all about, can you tell us what the organization does and where you're located?
Well, we're a parent training early intervention program, and what early intervention means is that we provide a classroom for children in our program. So we do parent training on behavior management, and we're located at 4028 West Irving Park Road. Perfect.
And can you tell us, how was it started? Because I heard you just celebrated a very cool anniversary.
We just celebrated our 30th anniversary. We had our gala in October. And Tuesday's Child was started back in 1980. It was started as a research project at Children's Memorial and was started by Dr. Victoria Levine and Catherine Augustine.
Oh, wow. So it's been going strong for 30 years. Mm-hmm. And something cool I just learned was you are alumni, yet now working for the organization.
That is true. I started as a mom with 4 little boys who were at home, sort of running, jumping, screaming, yelling, and having the time of their lives. And I was behind them, running, jumping, screaming, and yelling, and not having so much fun. And so I stumbled upon Tuesday's Child, and it gave me some really great techniques to sort of turn our lives around.
And I started Tuesday's Child 21 years ago with my only child, who was then 2.5. Who was just a little biter and a tantrumer and a throw herself down on the floor. And I came to Tuesday's Child feeling very much like a loser as a mom. I was running a business, but I couldn't handle a 2.5-year-old and couldn't get her to do what I wanted. And I came to Tuesday's Child, and it changed both of our lives. The focus at Tuesday's Child is positive parenting, and it taught me to see the good that was in her and to kind of take the no out of what I was doing and to encourage her and give her things that she could do. And because of Tuesday's Child, I didn't go there with a doctorate in psychology. Because of Tuesday's Child, I decided to go back to school and get a doctorate. And it is truly by the grace of God that the clinical director job was open when I was looking for full-time work. I took it. My Tuesday's Child just got her master's degree in psychology.
Oh my.
So it's totally changed our lives. I love Tuesday's Child.
So that is wonderful. And those were such personal stories to success. And not only for you guys, but your children as well. Mm-hmm. Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about all the programs that Tuesday's Child actually offers. So for all of our parents out there, our teachers, and of course some of the kids, if you think that this is a good program, go ahead and tell your mom and tell your dad and tell them to look up some cool information on TuesdaysChildChicago.org. So before we go straight into a lot of the good ones, because we have school and summer, we have our core programs. Can you tell us a little bit about those 3 core programs you guys offer?
Sure, I can tell you a little bit about the core program. So our weekday core program is a peer-to-peer mentoring program. So a parent who's struggling with a child who won't take no for an answer, maybe has a hard time getting up, getting dressed, and out of the house in the morning, or maybe is struggling in their school or daycare environment, following rules, following directions. That's the reason why you would come to Tuesday's Child. Your child would go into our classroom, and you would go into our parent room, and you would be assigned a peer mentor. You and your peer mentor would work for an hour and a half every session, developing goals on behaviors you want to see changed, and then working out ways to achieve those goals. We have a 12-week syllabus that our peer mentors follow. We have a lot of support. I support the parent room. Dr. Purpley supports the parent room. We have early childhood specialist who is also involved in our program. And so that's our core program, a 12-week parent training program provided. Your program is provided through a peer mentor, and your child is in our classroom where we're having fun. We have great activities. Kids love our classroom, but it's also very purposeful. We're working on things like time on task, group participation, socialization with your peers, and teacher compliance.
Oh, wow. So can you name a couple of activities that would actually go on in some of these classes?
We're very sensory-based, which means we always have a sand activity, an art activity, a messy activity, water activities. We cooperative play. Again, most of our activities are very purposeful. So cooperative play would be, dinosaurs and blocks, princesses and superheroes, so that people are trying to figure out how to manage their playtime with other kids cooperatively. There's oftentimes parents will say, I've never been able to get an art project from my child. My child refuses to do art projects at their daycare or preschool. And our kids always complete them.
Many of our children will have come to Tuesday's Child because they struggled in another preschool. And a lot of times I think the kids come in there feeling kind of bad about themselves and feeling like they don't know how to make friends. And one thing that I think that children and parents learn at Tuesday's Child is that there's always another chance to do something over, that we really work on the socialization aspect. We really work on using our words and just setting our children up for success. That's the biggest thing I would say, is that we're not about, saying no. We're about, setting them up for success. And the kids know it. The teachers are using those techniques. The parents are using those techniques. The kids know it, and I think the children instinctively feel better about themselves.
Oftentimes parents come to us and they say, I've tried everything. There's no punishment that I can provide that stops my kid from pushing his sister. And then we say, well, but that's not what we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about what's the worst thing we can do to stop this behavior. We're going to encourage your child to make a good choice to begin with. We're going to work on that part, how to encourage your child to make the right choice, to follow the rules, so that you don't have to go to the discipline part. And that's what our positive parenting is all about. People think positive parenting is about praise, but that's an after behavior. We're really talking about being proactive, looking at the before behaviors. How can I set my kid up for success so this doesn't even happen? And it's such a aha moment when you think about parenting in that way. And it's hard. Because somehow our head thinks like this. If you don't brush your teeth, you're not getting a story. If you don't eat dinner, you're not getting dessert. If you don't stop, I'm going to take that away. However, you can say all those things in a way that's encouraging, which is when you brush your teeth, then you get a story. When you try your food, then you get dessert. When you play with that appropriately, then you can keep it. Oh my gosh, we just said the exact same thing in a way that is encouraging.
And it's just a few switches of words and how you say it, and you're going to get those results that they want. Yes,
and it does work. It does work because children and people like to be talked to like that.
Yeah, and the way that you said it actually kind of changed the outlook as well. Do you guys teach that, or did you do that just naturally?
No, I mean, that's what happens. I mean, it really is a paradigm shift. People, it's just at some point, very early in the program, all of a sudden you go, oh, instead of looking at the end and what can I do to stop this, I'm really going to look at the environment and set it up so that my child can be successful.
So this is an awesome program that you guys are doing. If there are parents that are working 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, is there an alternative program maybe on the weekends that they could come and take some of these classes?
Yes, we do have a Saturday program for parents who work outside the home. It's a little bit structured a little bit differently because we have quite a few people who try to access that program. So instead of a peer-to-peer model, it's taught in a group format. It's led by the clinical psychologist and the director of our parent training, which would be
Well,
me.
how lucky. We just happen to have both of them here.
Yes.
And how do those programs usually go? Is there still the art crafts and the sound
There's
playing?
still the classroom
the classrooms
component.
are exactly the same. And I will say that one of the things that parents get out of going to Tuesday's Child, besides learning all these techniques and getting a handle on a lot of everyday behaviors, I think that parents develop really strong bonds with each other because they're all kind of sharing the same story and learning from one another. And that was, as a parent going through the program, that was the part that I liked best, was the group sharing and just the empathy and support that was in the group really is what kept me going back to train more and more families. I mean, that's kind of how we all wound up staying so long, is that after you do your 12 weeks, if you're in the core program, then many people will elect to stay on another 12 weeks and be a peer mentor to another family.
So it just keeps on giving.
Mm-hmm.
And do you find that the kids really click better in these programs?
Socialization is a big concern with a lot of families that come to Tuesday's Child. Again, oftentimes our kids have just such exuberance that they want to be first, have to be first. If they see a toy, they want to have that toy. And so they tend to have a hard time in a group. And so what we're teaching in our classroom, what we're modeling in our classroom, and what we're reinforcing in our classroom is appropriate peer interaction. And oftentimes in a regular setting, a regular preschool setting, if you can't participate in an appropriate way in an activity, you are taken out of that activity. And our philosophy is if you're taken out, you can't learn how to do it right. And so we keep you in that activity. We set you up for success. Again, we're not going to say as soon as we go to blocks, and you better not throw them, because that doesn't tell him what he can do.
So if you don't throw them, you can join in on the next activity.
Or
we're going to say the way to keep playing with blocks is to keep them in your space, is to keep them on the ground, is to build them.
That's awesome. That's so great, too, that the parents actually get a sense of community as well from Tuesday's Child. But we're running out of time for a second, but keep it here on Radio Disney AM 1300, because when we get back, we'll be talking about some of summer programs, but also some of the most memorable moments that they've experienced at Tuesday's Child. So keep it here on AM 1300.
Packers.
Vikings.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we make a real difference in the building blocks of life. Children succeed in school, families gain financial stability, the health of our neighbors improves, and suddenly so do our communities. Real change won't happen without you.
Live United.
So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up today at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
This is Usher. I've spent years mentoring youth and have seen how volunteering and service teaches young people the skills they need to become leaders and sets them on the path for success. This is about you. It's about your power. It's about creating change on your terms by volunteering. The truth is, you can do anything. Join me in answering the President's call to service. Go to serve.gov today. This message is brought to you by United We Serve and the Corporation for National and Community Service.
Hello, I'm Joan Cusack, the narrator of Peep in the Big Wide World on public television. I'm also a mom. As parents, we have opportunities every day to explore simple math and science with our kids. Trying things out, exploring, and asking questions together is the best way to help kids develop the skills they need to succeed. Go to peepinthebigwideworld.org, where you'll find lots of fun activities for the whole family.
Hi, I'm Faith Hill. I've made a lot of tough decisions in my life. When I left my hometown of Star, Mississippi for Nashville, some thought I was crazy. It was a tough choice, but the right choice. It was decisions like that which helped me prepare for the challenges I would face reaching my dream. Don't let opportunities slip by you. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
This is the story of a stove.
An energy-saving stove made in Uganda.
When Child Fund worked with local youth to make and sell these stoves, well, things really heated up.
Because these stoves use very little wood and produce less smoke,
reducing deforestation and respiratory disease.
They're creating jobs and a brighter future.
This is only one of Child Fund's many innovative solutions benefiting children in need worldwide.
To learn more, visit childfund.org.
Child Fund. Innovative solutions, one child at a time.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Welcome back to In Tune with Radio Disney AM 1300. I'm DJ Angela, and here today we have some special guests from Tuesday's Child. We're lucky enough to have the Director of Parent Training, Joanne Loper. We also have Dr. Joanne Purpley, the Clinical Director from Tuesday's Child, come in and speak to us about the organization and how we can get involved. Thank you guys for coming on to the show today.
Thank you, DJ Angela. It's a pleasure.
Of course. For more information on Tuesday's Child, go ahead and check them out at www.tuesdayschildchicago.org or call 773-282-5274. Right before the break, we were talking about all the amazing programs that Tuesday's Child has to offer. Can you guys tell me about the Tuesdays on Tuesday?
Tuesdays on Tuesdays is an outreach opportunity that we provide where we'll come. A couple of professionals will come into an office building, or we also do some home parenting classes, and we do a parenting class. A lot of times we call it our Brown Bag Lunch series, and so we come into your office for an hour and a half, and we talk about positive parenting, and then we do a Q&A. So
That is awesome. That's a great little title too, right there. Brown Bag
Lunch series.
Brown Bag Lunch.
Right. It's great for people who are working and just can't find the time. We're all so busy these days, it's hard to find the time to attend the full program.
That is perfect. And then can you touch a little bit about what is Tuesday for Parents?
Tuesday's Parent is a program for alumni of Tuesday's Child. It's just a way to keep parents reconnected with Tuesday's Child and to offer ongoing support.
Awesome. So can you tell me a little bit about the school advocacy program?
Yeah, what we provide for clients who are in our program is we'll come with them to advocate for any service that your child might need in their public school. Tuesday's Child looks at children individually, and oftentimes our children need additional help. They need additional services, like maybe speech therapy, occupational therapy, developmental therapy. Maybe they need additional time
for testing,
those sorts of things. And so, as a parent, you've never been through this. You've never had that. Never had to go to school and try to figure out how to get those services. And so we've done it for 30 years for parents, and so we kind of come along and help you learn that process.
That's wonderful. So you're getting all aspects for the parents, from the home life to school.
Mm-hmm. Right. We're helping parents, too, to be better advocates for their children, because it's true that a lot of times walking into a school staffing with a lot of professionals is very intimidating to parents. You know, I know that the professionals are all there and their hearts are all in the right places and want to help, but when it's your own child, it's very scary. And it's great to have someone go with you. It's great to have someone help you sort it out. And that's a service that, you know, personally I think is a great service we offer at Tuesday's Child.
Great. And then one more service that I was excited to hear about. I know that it's winter right now, but summer is quickly approaching and registration is open for your summer camps.
We have a very exciting summer camp. We're busy, busy, busy. Every week is a different theme. We have a field trip every week. And remember, our mission is to help children enter school ready to learn. So part of our field trips are helping kids be able to be successful on the bus, successful waiting in line, successful just interacting with their peers on a field trip. And we have the summer camp lasts for 10 weeks. And it's a very fun time where we're still practicing all the very same techniques, but in a more fun summer-based fashion.
So where are some of the field trips that you've guys gone on?
Well, we've gone to the Cole Children's Museum. We've gone to the Mayan Water Park. We go to the Children's Museum.
North Park Nature Center. The Lego
Legoland.
Legoland.
Wow, so you guys are taking awesome field trips.
We are.
We go to the beach.
Oh.
And as clinical director, I get to go on a lot of the field trips.
Oh, so she has a big smile right now. So those are like the things to go on, right?
Those are the things to go on.
Did the kids have a favorite one last summer?
You know, I think the water park is a big one. Well, the Legoland was good. And then usually in the afternoon, weather permitting, we'll walk over. We have a neighborhood park that's just a couple blocks away. So we'll go to the park and go in the sprinkler.
And do the parents come along then during the field trips? Or is this more for peer-to-peer interaction?
This is more for peer-to-peer. Again, it's a school readiness activity. We look at it as a school readiness activity to be able to get on the big yellow bus.
By themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Not cry, even though I don't get to say bye to Mom.
Right. Oftentimes parents who have kids who struggle in school or daycare, they have to go on all the field trips. So this is nice for them, and it's a great opportunity for the kids to learn how to behave because the teacher said so, not because Mom or Dad is there.
Oh, all right. That's a very good program.
You know, there's one more thing that we're going to be starting shortly. We're going to have what's called the Friendship Club, and those are going to be a social skills group for children from age 5 through age 8. And that's, again, working on the same premise, the same getting along with others, recognizing our own feelings, recognizing the feelings of others. And so that's going to be starting hopefully in the next month or two.
Oh, that's an awesome goal right there. So you have the Friendship Club. Do you have to register then? And then how does that work?
Yes, it will be. We will be posting it on our website, and one will be able to register on the website.
Well, I want to join the Friendship Club.
Oh, please do.
It's just a good name right there. You go in and you get to find all your best friends.
You can be an honorary member.
Oh, I'm there.
All right.
Listeners, come and join me. We're going to come and have some fun at the Friendship Club with Tuesday's Child. All right. Well, speaking of friendships and great memories, this is one of my favorite questions. Can you guys tell our listeners, what is one of your most memorable moments from Tuesday's Child?
Well, I can start.
Okay.
I think one of my most memorable moments that I attribute to Tuesday's Child is that my son, Dan, was a very driven young man. He was a very strong-willed, independent, had to be first in everything, had to be the smartest, the funniest, and, and I think it's a great adult personality, but it's a very hard little personality to parent. And so, because you can't always be first, you aren't always the funniest, and you're not always the smartest at everything. And so we kind of struggled through that, and Tuesday's Child really helped me celebrate the kind of child that he was instead of just, oh, my Lord, every day. And so sort of flash forward to when he was 15, and he was in sports, and he was going to speed camp to develop explosive speed. I don't know what that means, but that's what he was doing. And it was early in the morning, and I was driving him, and I was dropping him off, and he was complaining, his back was hurting, his feet were hurting, it was just, he was just exhausted. And I said, honey, why don't you just take it easy today? just take it easy today. And he looked at me and he said, Mom, nobody should ever say, don't go out and do your best today.
Aww.
And it still sort of makes me choke up because that's who he was and that's who he is now. I mean, he's always trying hard. He's always trying to be the best that he can be. I mean, he's older now and doesn't really put forth as much effort as he did when he was 4 or 14. But he is in veterinarian school. And
so, yes, Daniel, we know you're putting forth effort.
It is hard to get
just
into.
in different ways.
Yes.
Well, that is an amazing story right there. And from a member to an activist now working with Tuesday's Child members, it's a very touching story.
Thank you.
And I think for me, the most memorable thing is, I mean, yes, going from having a child who used to cry and scream and bite and tantrum to having a child who could, you know, who would remind me, you know, to say something positive or would say, Mom, that was a good job you did. That was great and that's wonderful. But I think that for me is that over the years I have made so many friends with the parents who've gone through the program and seeing how much our children have grown. You know, I mean, my daughter just finished a master's program. One of my girlfriend's children who was a Tuesday's Child is in law school. It's just, I just remember being there feeling so scared and so defeated. And now, you know, that our kids are grown up, we can see where they are now. And it just, I wish Tuesday's Child could reach out to everyone.
That's wonderful. And congratulations to your daughter on her master's degree. All right. Well, I don't want to move on from those. I love those stories. But can you tell us some advice, last words of wisdom for our parents out there, the teachers, our Radio Disney listeners of all ages about staying motivated or joining this program?
Well, I would say one thing is that one of my nieces for Christmas gave me a plaque that says, it's never too late to start the day over. And I think that was so powerful to me, is that sometimes when you're struggling with a child who isn't listening for whatever reason, you feel very defeated. And you know what? You can take a deep breath and start over and think, you know, like, how can I set my child up for success? And that's what we do at Tuesday's Child. And I would invite anyone to come visit, you know, come take a tour, schedule an intake. I tell you, you'll love it. I know it changed my life, and I've seen it change thousands of other people's lives.
And I think I would say that oftentimes parents come to our program and they feel because their children aren't necessarily going to all the birthday parties that everyone else is, or maybe they've been asked to leave the library because of behavior or whatever reason. I think parents feel like bad parents. And what we say at Tuesday's Child is that bad parents don't access parenting classes. We only get good parents at Tuesday's Child.
That's true.
You're not a bad parent if you have to access a parenting class. You're just looking for the right thing for your child.
Perfect. Very well said on that end. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure.
Of course. All right. So again, listeners, you guys just got words of wisdom from Joanne Loper, the Director of Parent Training. We also had Dr. Joanne Purpley, the Clinical Director for Tuesday's Child. So thank you guys again for coming in. Listeners, if you guys had a blast listening to us, make sure you're checking out RadioDisney.com for more information. Also, you can call in and request some of our hot jams for 2012 at 312-409-3212. Thank you guys so much. I'm DJ Angela, and we will see you next week bright and early on Radio Disney AM 1300.
Keep those dials tuned in every Sunday morning so you can get up and get in tune with Radio Disney AM 1300.
Your music, your way.
Radio Disney.
Radio Disney.
It is so easy to give back.
I don't have a lot of money to help people, but I do have something. I have time.
You can give any skill you have.
Just imagine how strong a society we could be.
This is Barack Obama. Every one of us has a role to play in making our communities and our country stronger. Discover yours. Help us continue to make a difference in the life of our nation. Go to serve.gov and find the opportunity that works for you. And this message is brought to you by the Corporation for National and Community Service.
Hey everybody, this is Vince Gill, and I've been performing for a living for nearly 30 years. I've been fortunate to sell a lot of records and win some Grammys and all that kind of stuff, but you take the money and the awards away, and I'm telling you what, I'm still happy because I get to do what I love. I'm a musician, and you give me a guitar, banjo, mandolin, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm just happy making music, so don't let anybody tell you that anything's not possible. You can do anything if you set your mind to it. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.